Back here at the beautiful world headquarters in East Boston of CLNS Media, somebody who has not had a beautiful, wonderful beginning to his Celtics career is one rookie, Robert Williams, out of Texas A&M. He overslept and missed his conference call, his introductory conference call. It does happen, Jeff.
Does it?
The day after. It does. You give him that
overslept?
one.
They did say it was a sleeper pick.
Get it?
They did say that.
But 9 days later, a little more serious. And you could tell when Jeff Twiss opened the PR, longtime PR maven for the Celtics, opened the Jay Larranaga media availability with an announcement. And you went, oh boy, here we go. And he says Robert Williams missed his flight to the first summer league practice. And then eyes roll, and the first 3 or 4 questions are about Robert Williams. Jeff, what do the Celtics do to correct this situation? That's what every Celtics fan wants to know. What do they do?
I would love to say I'm shocked by all this with Robert Williams. And I like the kid. Listen, I've sat down with him extensively a couple times, and I really like him and his talent. He's a fun kid to be around.
Yeah,
He's just immature. Yeah. He's super immature. And the crazy part is this is a kid who could have left after his freshman year and made a ton of money, probably been a late lottery pick, and decided to come back to school. So you would have thought he showed some maturity, right? Well, he went back and he had some fun. And he partied. And he took advantage of college life. And his stock slipped a little bit, but he's still making guaranteed millions of dollars. The Celtics have invested. Am I worried? Yeah, I'm worried. But again, it was worth the risk for the Celtics at 27. Not a huge risk for a GM and Danny Ainge that has all these other pieces. That's not going to be relying on Robert Williams. And if he doesn't work out, nobody's going to crucify Danny Ainge because of all the other good moves he's made lately. Put him with Al Horford. Give Al Horford extra money under the table.
Right.
Take care of him. Let him live with him. I mean, Al probably doesn't want that. but honestly, that's what needs to happen here. I saw the lockers, the setup of the lockers, and I don't think Robert Williams was next to Al Horford.
Okay. That's got to change. Well, you know, I'm not so concerned about who's lockering next to who. It's who's talking to who.
But that's part of it. After the game, you're next to him.
Understood.
Are you going to walk all the way across the room if you're Al Horford and talk to Robert Williams? Maybe, but it's certainly a lot easier if you got him right next to you.
Like even like at halftime, going in and talking about adjustments, what you saw out there. I'm worried for Robert. I'm worried for him because I mean, is this guy even like? Is he even like mature enough to survive on his own? Is he gonna get to the games on time?
Well, they're gonna bring in, from what I was told,
they need a babysitter.
They're gonna bring in his assistant high school coach and a trainer from the agent Bill Duffy. So they're gonna bring 2 people to live with him. Now, obviously, maybe they haven't made it here yet.
It's like the Sagan where he had like an adopted family for a year.
Yep.
How'd that end
up?
Gotta
do it though. Listen.
After 1 year, he bounced and he was.
Correct.
Well,
and that's a great analogy, Jimmy, because you know they don't want a super talented guy. And this look, he's a first-round talent. He would have gone higher probably if there weren't the questions that you raised, Jeff.
And there were also some leg questions. There were also some knee issues. And the problem was, again, he bounced agents midway through. Bill Duffy thought his floor was, you know, late lottery, maybe 20. So then when he started getting into that range, teams didn't have his medicals.
Right.
So they started to get concerned, call a bunch of people, Texas A&M, Bill Duffy, and that's part of the reason why he fell, along with the questions off the court, suspensions, failed drug tests. I mean, there were plenty of questions around Robert Williams.
So, Jeff, let me ask you, who has the stronger voice with Robert Williams, Danny Ainge or Brad Stevens? And who is it more important for to get through to him?
They're going to have to do it together. I mean, it's going to have to be a group effort with Ainge. Keep an eye on him. Brad will be great for him. Again, I think Al Horford could have the biggest impact on him, to be honest, if he wants to. Now, again, I think you're going to have to talk to Al and make this something that's almost his project.
You really think you have to convince Al?
I don't think you have to convince him, but I think you got to get him motivated to say, this is your project. Because Al is confident enough in himself now. He doesn't have to worry about his game or anything like that. I think it's, listen, this is your guy, and we want you. He's got the ability, but we need you to kind of be his de facto coach.
See, I think Marcus Smart could play a huge role. Now, granted, he may not even be with the team next year if a team comes in and blows the Celtics out of the water with an offer sheet and he's gone. But if he comes back...
But he's rough around the edges.
He's rough around the edges, but I think he shares a lot in common in terms of some of the issues he had in college. He had personality conflicts and... discipline, maturity issues is probably the most general way of accurately characterizing.
The difference is Marcus Smart worked.
And that's
Robert
what needs
Williams,
to wear off on him.
We don't know. Like, I talked to Tyler Davis, who was his teammate at Texas A&M.
Right.
I was there when Robert Williams blew up. Blew up his freshman year. Nobody knew who he was. They're at a tournament in Anaheim, the same tournament that LeVar Ball told me that he guaranteed UCLA winning a national title. And I fault myself for putting LeVar Ball on the map, which you can all blame me forever.
All right,
but Robert Williams blew up. And I remember talking to Tyler Davis, his teammate, who just left Texas A&M also. And the biggest question he had, and their whole staff has had, was, is he just getting by on his natural talent? Is he going to work?
Right.
Is he going to put in the time? And he really hasn't done that yet because he's a small-town kid who it came to kind of out of nowhere. And he thought he'd probably be a 3 or 4 year kid. And maybe he'd be a first-round pick after 3 or 4 years.
You know what I think this reminds me of? That not every incoming rookie is going to be Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum. Those two guys, and I think we take for granted how mature they are, but this kind of underscores the other side of that.
Sure, and I'll just say this. You know, the one thing Ainge did talk about a lot about was structure, and you mentioned it. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be Danny or is it going to be Brad? I mean, what better two guys to at least have tag teaming in that situation? And then you bring in a guy like Horford, you mentioned Smart. So I do think that if this kid is going to figure it out, this is a good place for him to be. I mean, imagine if he ended up in like Sacramento or something like that. So we're going to find out. We're going to find out quickly if he has what it takes. Either way, he's going to figure out how to get back and forth to Maine on time because I think that's where we'll be spending some of the season.
The drive, are you going to take him back and forth to Maine?
Yeah. It sounds like he's got a few guys that will be around to be able to do it for him. So.
Certainly lots of questions for Robert Williams to answer, and the Celtics will be there to try and help him figure them out.